We're here for one singular purpose, and that's to introduce our new Central High School head football coach, Coach Mark Smith. Coach Smith comes to us with more than 23 years of experience, and through a thorough vetting process of over 70 applicants, Coach Smith was chosen to be our next head football coach. We're excited to introduce him to you today. He's going to speak to you, but there's a couple things I'd like to say before he takes the microphone, and that is Coach Smith has been hired because he knows the game of football. But more importantly, he's been hired because he's a man of integrity. He's a good family man, a good husband, a good father. And we've done our background and vetted, and we believe that he's going to be able to translate those things to the kids at Central High School and the community. I can tell you, and I think we all know, that less than 1% of high school kids go on to play college football, and less than 1% of those college athletes go on to play professional football. So what we're doing is we are developing young men to be good fathers, good husbands, and give back to the community. Coach Smith is the right guy for the job, and he's here to do that. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Coach Mark Smith. Coach Smith, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Moran. What a wonderful day today is. You know, I stand here before each of you today just very humbled from a place of humility to be at such a fine school and school district as San Angelo Central and San Angelo ISD. This place is very special to me. I grew up in Abilene, so I'm a West Texas guy. This is home for me, and I'm grateful to be here. The opportunity that presents itself at Central High School to work with fantastic people is something that really spoke to me throughout the course of this process. You know, from the very beginning with Dr. Moran, with our principal, Joe Ross, with the athletic administration, Rodney Chan, and everyone that was involved in the process. I see Jason Skelton is back here. There's just wonderful people in San Angelo ISD. And our people do make the difference. That's the slogan and the motto here. And I saw that on the first email that was sent to me by Jason. And I really saw, man, I can relate to that. This is a people business. This is a people way of life. And that's something that I firmly believe. I'm a relationship-based coach. I believe in the comprehensive student athlete and developing them in every area, not just football or not just athletics, but in every area. And if you do that the right way, it's got a proven track record for success. Another thing that was just appealing to me about San Angelo ISD was just the alignment. You know, when I went through the interview process and the level of questioning and the things that were being asked and the discussion that was going on around the room, it became very clear to me that this is a place that fits exactly with the vision that I have and the alignment that I see for developing championship student athletes. And that's super appealing to a coach. You know, when you're given the resources to go and win, and we are in the business of winning, but we're in the business of winning in football and in life. And that's something that I take very seriously. That's my responsibility as a coach. I told the players this morning when I addressed them, if all I do is make you a better football player, then I failed you. My job is to make you a better human being, a better person, because you were in this program and you're involved in athletics here in San Angelo. So with that being said, I'll have any questions that you guys might have, and I'd love to address those.
Coach, you have a lot of high school coaching experience. You've been a head coach in high school, but you spent about the last 9 or 10 years in college. So, what went into your decision? Were you looking to get back into high school? Were you kind of drawn back to that, or was it just an opportunity? And also, what about San Angelo attracted you?
I feel like that's a great question, and I do. I mean, just the first 14 years of my career in high school football, that's kind of where I got my start. I'm in coaching because of my high school coach. I remember, and I shared this story, I played for Randy Allen at Abilene Cooper, and he moved in to town on my street. And I remember the day that he moved in. I remember seeing this coach and this new coach walking up and down the street with his dog, and I just watched and observed, and I just followed this man. And then I played for this coach, and then he made such an impact on my life. And I feel like as a high school coach, you have much more of a direct impact with student athletes today. College football is wonderful. It's been very good to me. It provided some great opportunities for myself and my family, but this opportunity, as we just felt led really over the last few years to find our way back to high school football is something that was very important. I have a son he's a freshman in high school right now, and I want to coach my son. And that's something you only get one opportunity to do. And I've spent the last 9 years missing more of his games than seeing him. So this provides that opportunity for me as well. And I believe the impact that you can have at this level is just far greater than any other impact that you have. You're with young men and young women during some very critical moments in their lives. And you know, my calling is to make a positive impact in their lives. So this place, this time, everything fits. And I do believe that. The alignment has to be there. You know, not every job is perfect for every person. So timing matters, people matter, and the right circumstances matter. And all that came together right here at San Angelo Central.
You kind of mentioned it, you kind of touched on it, but to have those West Texas ties, you know, being from Abilene, how cool is it and how excited are you to kind of be back in San Angelo, close to, you know, family and friends and just like the place where you grew up?
Well, it's super special to me. You know, I can put my boots on now and people don't think I'm weird, you know? So I've been to places where they look at that like, I don't understand that. Well, that's me. They give you a pair of boots as soon as you're born. You know, they're issued to you immediately when you're from West Texas. So I love the people here. I love what West Texas represents. You know, my family is in Abilene. My wife was my high school sweetheart. Her family's in Abilene. I mean, this is just really unique for us to have this opportunity to come back here. And there's a genuine love and appreciation for the people here. And as we looked at places to go, you know, we had options on what we wanted to do. So this place fit all of the things that we were looking for as a family, professionally and personally.
Continue to reflect on your coaching career and also your coaching style. Just, you know, what do you plan to bring to this program to kind of restore the winning culture?
Well, there is a winning culture here, and you walk down the hallway and you see trophy after trophy after trophy. And I just remember from growing up here the rich tradition and history of winning football at San Angelo Central, and it's been done here and it will be done here again. The pieces are in place, the timing is right. You know, I think that something that weighed into my decision, it was really important to me that the principal was new this year. The superintendent just was hired a month ago. I think that's a special alignment at this time. Whenever you can do that and really get a core team of people together where they're aligned and their vision is clear on what they want to go and do and accomplish. And the support structure that's here to be able to do that. You know, it's one thing to be somewhere and we talk about winning, but this place, it supports that in a way that's unique. So I think that this place is primed for winning. You know, what we're going to do from this point, I believe the comprehensive student athlete is where it starts. I mentioned at the beginning, relationship-driven coach. I think that we can do anything if there's that common trust that's been developed between coach and student athlete to student athlete. So that's what I'm about. And whenever you have those things that are in place, the winning takes care of itself. And I think that my experiences over the last 24 years in coaching, you know, I've seen a lot of different things. I've been a part of 10 different coaching staffs, different styles, different ways to do it. But all ways that have taught me exactly what that formula looks like. And so I have that formula, and everything is a little bit paired towards exactly where you are. So there's a specific winning formula here at San Angelo Central. And, you know, that's something that I'm excited to implement. And I'm excited to do it with people that are starting out right now with me. You know, that's really appealing to me. I think it's always a great thing whenever you come in somewhere and the slate is clean. And, you know, anything that I do or say, you know, with the team is not ever an indictment on what was done here before, because there's a deep, rich history and tradition of winning here before. But with change comes, you know, a new way of doing things. So I'm excited to implement that, to get going with our athletes. I was excited to be here and be out there and with them this morning, watching them work out. We just finished up outside. So this challenge is I see it as an opportunity to go be the best we can be. And that's my goal and my vision, is to win championships here.
Coach, being from West Texas, of course you're familiar with the opponents in our district.
Mm-hmm.
How important is that knowing that the kind of rivalries that already exist in this district, and what's it going to take to get back to consistently beating the Midlands and the Odessas?
Well, this is the little Southwest Conference, as they used to say, and it still is, and that excites me. And you know, there's a level of commitment that comes with winning, and I told the players this morning, a big catchphrase of mine is football is a game of doing, you know, and there's a lot of work and a lot of things that fall into that term doing. And it's about relationship building, it's about the work that you actually put in, it's about the investment that you make, it's about the things you're willing to give up to be the best that you can be as well. So that's all a part of the process of winning and building that formula together. So, you know, I believe that, you know, to move the needle from where it is to where you want to go, you know, sometimes you're working through that process to get it where it needs to be. But the players are in place here, the structure is in place here, The alignment is in here, and now it's just implementing that vision, that clear vision, to go see the product out on the field on Friday nights in the fall.
You mentioned meeting the boys out earlier today, this morning. You know, what's the goal and mindset for you in terms of developing the relationships, getting to know, you know, the players on a much better level, the coaching staff, you know, as you furthermore into, you know, the spring and then into the summer as well?
I told them that, you know, my first 25 days right here on the job, my goal is to have significant, meaningful conversations with every player on our team. I've got time set up here over the weekend to meet with all the existing staff and get to know them. I think it's more than just a 5-minute hello and chit chat. You know, it's a real investment, you know, to build those relationships, and that's priority to me. And I think that when that is accomplished, then you can go do the things you want to do together. And if that piece isn't put together in the puzzle, it will never look right. So it's important to invest in that, not only with our team and with our coaching staff, but with our teachers, our instructors at the university, our administration at the school. And that's really important to me. And it's not just lip service that I give it. I mean, it's something that I really invest in and really enjoy doing. So those relationships and that time spent building those relationships is invaluable. And once that piece is accomplished, then you can go accomplish whatever you want.
Obviously still a long way out from, you know, game one opening week. You know, what can fans expect from, you know, the coaching style that you bring to not only, you know, the older generation here in St. Angelo, but also, you know, parents of, you know, the kids that, you know, they're bestowing the fact.
If you were to ask somebody, well, what does a Mark Smith team look like in years past? Well, they're smart, they're tough, and they're disciplined. Those things there. That's really the hallmark of teams. Now, what does that look like in terms of offense and defense? It's look different, you know, from year to year and from team to team. And this team will have its own unique look as to what it is exactly our formula to win. But smart players, tough players, and disciplined players is what it's going to look like on Friday nights. Me personally, you know, I think if you were to ask, you know, people what do they see in me? I'm enthusiastic. I'm a positive, upbeat person. The glass is half full. I'm solution oriented and not focused on problems. So, and I think that's something that will permeate through our staff and through our team and through this school, you know, as well as they see me and see me interact around campus or around town or whatever it may be. I don't sit still very much. I'm always a little antsy, probably just bouncing back and forth in here right now. Just excited to be here, you know, and I think that as you'll see and you'll watch me over the years that we're here, that's a genuineness to it. It's not something that's fake. It's really who I am. It's really how I'm wired. It's how I'm built. And you know, my favorite part of the day was getting in there in front of the team this morning. I mean, that is those young men that are a part of this program are the reason why I do what I do. And I'm excited to get to know them and to build these relationships together.
Coach Jay Michaels from Foster Communications. It's true that we've lost some players over the last several years as the winning tradition kind of begins to wane. Kids don't get as excited about coming out at 6 o'clock in the morning and working out. And I noticed recruitment is part of your history in the college level. Do you expect to use recruitment on the campus to get some of those kids back?
I do, and I think that's a great question. You know, I think that's always something that you have to be doing constantly now. You know, I think with young people today, you have to give them a reason to want to be a part of your program. They don't just do it just because this is what we do. So I think creating a positive environment where they know they're going to be nurtured, they know they're going to be pushed, they know they're going to be held accountable, they know this is going to be a place that they can come and enjoy themselves. I said, this should be the best part of your day when you're here in the morning. And I think that is something that is gained through that trust and that relationship equity. And there may be people within our school that aren't playing football that should be, like you mentioned. And you know, those bridges will be crossed, you know, so to speak. And I think that comes with just, you know, people watching. I said football's a game of doing, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do my part to be able to bridge those gaps where that may be. But at the same time, I'm excited about the people that are here in this room right now. And I think that one thing that attracts people is winning. And when you do that, then you know everybody wants to be a part of what you're doing. So, but the part is to get from where you are to winning. And I think it takes everybody. It takes a village to do that. It takes alignment. It takes a clear vision, and it takes a commitment to doing things a certain way all the time. And you know, nothing happens just overnight. You know, it's all a process, and it takes time to do that. So, but that's what I'm here to do. You know, willing to invest in that process and make sure that we get all of the best players that we have right here on that field. It takes all kinds, big ones, small ones, medium ones, fast ones, slow ones, every one of them to go win championships. So I'm excited to do that and develop those relationships and extend that olive branch, maybe so to speak, to those that aren't involved in the program that should be. And but this is a great place, and we will win. And that's something that is going to happen. I have a clear vision on what that looks like. I know exactly what I want to do. And the timeline to get that done is going to be as quickly as possible, but it takes what it takes in order to do that. So I'm excited about that. For all of those that may have not been involved and want to be involved, there's no better time than now.
You went from high school head coach to college for 19 years, now back to head coach in high school. That experience in college, what can you bring from that now being a head coach again to make you even be a better high school head coach?
Yeah, in terms of, schematics are so great at the college game, and it's been a master's class in football. But again, it's all got to be relatable to your players and your team. And I think that's the biggest thing that I've learned is that the different college programs I've been a part of, we've all done things a little differently at each place. So the formula for winning at Arkansas might have been different at Colorado or in Long Island or at Oklahoma or at SMU. So it all looked a little bit differently, but you grab different experiences from all of those things and then you put them all together and find out what works best for where you are right now. So I just think the uniqueness of each of the different places that I was, of course schematically and when you're dealing with the best players in the country, the margin for error is so small. So you have to be really dialed in and attention to detail in what you're doing and maximize every second of your time. So I think that those are all lessons that I've taken from my time in college football to now be back in high school football to maximize everything that we have here.
And as an assistant, you've been mostly a defensive coach when you were an assistant, including defensive coordinator. Like, when you're a head coach, do you typically run your own defense, or do you have a defensive coordinator? I know you have a defensive
I
coordinator.
did at LD Bell. The last time I was a high school head coach, I ran the defense in addition to being the head coach. And that certain situation required that at that time. I don't know what that'll look like here. It might. I do think that, as a head coach, each of us that's in this position, you do have a certain expertise. That's what you're good at. So what I want to do is make sure that I maximize, my experiences in that to help our team out. So I'm not sure what that'll look like here yet. It may be more involved in that. It may be more involved just as an overall head coach. I do believe that the head coach does need to be involved in every area of the program, and sometimes that's challenging whenever you want to call one side of the ball or the other. You're limited in what you can do with the entire team. So my preference would be, to be head coach and to be observing everything and utilizing my skills in that way. But I'm not sure exactly what that'll look like yet.
Coach, expanding on that question a little bit, at this point you've formed many relationships with other coaches across just your tenure. Are you bringing any with you, or have you brought any coordinators or anything with you?
No one's been brought yet, yeah, but that is, that's something that will happen soon. And, I'm in those conversations and talks, already, of course, today with the big announcement, and that'll really open up, a free line of communication with me and others about that. So hopefully there'll be some announcements about that soon. But yeah, there's a lot of relationships, a lot of, equity built in that, over 24 years of coaching, and many of those right here in Texas. And so there'll be some quality people, and that's the main thing that I'm looking for, is people of great character, people that have a great work ethic, that fit the personality that we're looking for to be around our young men here in this program. That's number one. When you have that right, then you can capture the minds and the hearts of these young men within the program, and then go accomplish everything you want to.
Yeah, Coach. Paul Wilbur, Standard Times. You mentioned the margin of error earlier in one of your answers, and last year the team was 1-9, but there were plenty of times where they were extremely close in games. How do you envision getting the team over that hump and into the winning culture?
Yeah, I think that just to emphasize that, you can use some of those examples exactly of what you said. You look at last year's team and you see some of the scores on the record. This team is better than 1-9, I believe. There's a lot of talented young men on this team, but you are what your record says you are. At the end of the day, you won 1 and lost 9. And we've all, you know, been in situations where, man, we just narrow it down to this player, that player, whatever. I keep peeling the layer of the onion back. You know, I really like to, you know, kind of reverse engineer things, so to speak. So, you know, you go, what is the end result that you want, okay? And then work back from that. And then it goes back, I told the team this morning, and you asked the question, so it's a perfect time to mention it to you. I said, what you do in February matters for what happens in August or what happens in September. Or I use the example of the Saturday after Thanksgiving. Hopefully you're in a playoff game right then and it's somewhere and it's a great environment. But what you do today matters. And you know, my job is to emphasize that and to make sure that they understand the little things that we do today, missing a turn on a cone outside, which I brought up with one of our young men out there today. Those little things have a compounding effect to be able to make a difference at the end, you know, in a 1-point game, you know, maybe that little thing. So those are things that you can emphasize now, you know, in February that matter, and then just taking those moments and those experiences and then learning from those, you know. So we'll do that, you know, that's something that, you know, I'm excited to teach and to go through and explain that process to them, and then make sure that we understand the things we're doing now affect what we want to do. Those little things, those little steps, those little inches, they matter in the difference in winning and losing.
Yeah, Coach, and obviously we're a long way from football season still, but obviously with your defensive background, what is your vision for this defense? Is it, you know, more of a kind of what they ran last year, was a 3-4, more linebackers, or kind of just give me a brief explanation of your
Yeah, you know, and I don't have a great answer for that yet. I'm patient, okay? In terms of, I believe you can't put a square peg into a round hole. And if I'm rigid about exactly what I want to do here, and it may not fit exactly what we need to win here, then I would be foolish to do that. So 24 years in, I'm a little more patient than I used to be in terms of trying to figure out what the right formula is for winning. And you know, that's something that through conversations with the existing coaching staff and the players on the team, and then watching them work and seeing the personnel and studying the depth charts, you know, to know exactly what that might look like. You know, I mentioned about a Mark Smith team, smart, tough, and disciplined, okay? Those are just consistent things that you're going to see. But what does that look like on alignments for offense and defense and kicking game? I'm not sure yet, you know. And, you know, I think if somebody came up and knew exactly what they wanted to do, that's a little premature, you know, until you get to know your team exactly the way you need to. So this team will have a winning formula, all right? And I know my part is to make sure we get in alignment with that and do exactly what we need to do to be successful. So I wasn't dodging your question, but that's just the truth. You know, I don't know exactly what that'll look like. So I've been a part of, you know, 3-down teams, 4-down teams, bare front teams, you know, spread offenses, you know, 21 personnel, power running offenses, and mixtures of all of it. So we'll see the exact fit for this team and what it looks like to put ourselves in the best position to win.
And you know, you mentioned coaching or playing for the great Randy Allen.
Yes.
And you've also coached with some great coaches, like, you know, you spent time with Brent Venables, Chad Morris, people like that. So, you know, I'm sure those are some big influences for you. But overall, who are your biggest coaching influences?
Randy Allen would have to be number one. I mean, I got into this profession because of him and the influence that he had on my life. Jimmy Keeling would probably be number two. I played college football for him at Hardin-Simmons and had a wonderful experience doing that. And between those two men and the investment that they made in me, there's been many others, but those two stand out. And I'm just very grateful for them. I didn't come from a family of coaches or like my dad or anything. It was new to me. I just knew that athletics, and I knew I watched the coach, and I want to be like that. There was something about that person that was appealing to me, and the investment that they made in me. They cared about me more than just in the game of football. So that's something that's, you know, why I'm a relationship-driven coach. That's important to me. I think that's a huge factor in getting the most out of players, and it's got to be genuine in how you operate and how you deal with people. So those two would probably have the biggest influence to me, and then just many others. You mentioned, you know, Chad Morris, of course, 5 years with him between SMU and Arkansas. Carl Durrell at Colorado, who I worked for there. Brent Venables, Bob Stoops, 2 different times at Oklahoma. So just lots of great coaches, great people that all invested a lot in me, you know. And so you see kind of a combination of the people that you've been around and how you are. So I'm grateful for all of them.
What was it about last year's team that excites you the most about coming in here?
You know, I've been able to watch a little bit of that. I think that we have a lot of really good youth on this team, you know, so that's appealing to me as well. You know, when I studied and did my homework on, you know, this school and why would it be the best one for me, you know, I think the timing is right here. I mentioned it about the alignment and the timing of the superintendent, the principal, and everybody's new around this time, and I think the youth on our football team is very appealing to me. I think we have a good, strong upper class, but I think we have an extremely strong, you know, freshman and sophomore group, and the juniors that are in there right now. That's very appealing to a coach when you see kind of a backloaded roster. You know, that's something that you look at, and so that's probably the biggest thing that was appealing to me, is just seeing that. And then also, you know, it's West Texas. I mean, these guys work. You know, I mean, that's all they know, and that's very appealing to me. I mean, this is an environment where, you know, you see guys, and I watched this morning for the first time. I mean, they're getting after it. These guys they're not shy, they're not bashful, they're not scared to go work, and you don't have to beg them to do that. So there are places where that's different. So, but it's not here in West Texas, and definitely not in San Angelo.
Coach, and I know that your first focus is going to be just getting the program turned around, but I mean, I'll go ahead and say it. West Texas has struggled against playing schools in the Metroplex, you know, past week 10 and 11, you know, for the last 20 or so years. How do we get past that hump?
Yeah, well, you know, it's a process to be able to do that. So I think that, you know, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? Okay, and that's my approach, you know, and you know, it may seem like a task that is insurmountable when you look at it from the outside looking in, but not to me, and it won't be to these young men that are a part of this team. We're going to take one bite at a time, and you know, that's exactly what you do. You put your head down and you go to work. Football's a game of doing, and it shows up on that field. If you don't do, it shows up out there. You get exposed, and my job is to make sure we do what it takes to be winning those games. And I'm glad you brought that up. That's important to me. I could go play that game today, but we have a lot of work to do between now and then. And I've been in those games, and I've coached in those games, and been a part of that. So that excites me, and I just want our players to feel that same energy and excitement that's in me, and enthusiasm for an opportunity to go do that. And you know, you build a mindset and a psyche around your team that you can go accomplish whatever you want. The mind is a strong thing, and belief is real. And you know, I have to do a good job of making sure that I control that narrative within the players in our program, because sometimes from the outside you get different opinions about how things need to be, or what they look like, or what you can accomplish, you know, and I don't want anybody to put a muzzle on us about what we can or can't do. So we're going to be the best that we can be, and hopefully that needle gets moved from where it is to a championship team very quickly. But it will take what it takes, and I'm excited to do it. And I'm excited to get in those games and to win, just one bite at a time. You giggled about that, I think. Yeah, you liked that one.
It was a good
Yeah,
one.
yeah. Good?
I think we're good.
Yes, sir.
Thank you guys.
That was
Appreciate
awesome.
it.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
We'll sign for this package so I can leave.
All right.